Right now, everyone is safe after a fire evacuates Meriter Hospital's 6th floor.
Plus, we're going to see a pretty big temperature change throughout the weekend. I'll talk more about that coming up.
Good Saturday morning, and thanks for waking up with us today. I'm Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm Jacob Montesano. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Today is Saturday, October 18th. And, you know, when you hear the month of October, the first thing you think of is Halloween, obviously. But you also think of postseason baseball and football, great sports time. But unfortunately, the Brewers' postseason run has come to an end. The Dodgers were just too tough of a match. And I don't know if you watched the game, but basically the Dodgers have a player, the only player in the MLB, that Shohei Ohtani. He can pitch and hit. And he pitched yesterday and he hit yesterday. And he was superb in both. And he basically beat the Brewers by himself.
You said single-handedly earlier, and that is just incredible for the Dodgers.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a good season for the Brewers, and you know,
we had our run. Our Wisconsin, we're happy enough.
Exactly.
And we'll try again next year.
Now let's look at the forecast. We did see some rain earlier this morning, but taking a look at the current radar, mostly dry. A lot of the green you're kind of seeing. I don't expect a lot of that to actually be rainfall, rather than just some disturbances from the radar. But in general, we are looking pretty dry out there at this time. Now, we are seeing some foggy conditions as well. So as we take a look at the current visibility, areas to the west are actually seeing visibility basically near zero. So definitely take it easy if you have anywhere to go, even around Dane County where the visibility isn't quite as bad. The western portion of Dane County is seeing that low visibility as well. Now, as far as temperatures, right now we're in the lower 60s for Madison and areas to the east, but middle to upper 50s for places further to the northwest. And everyone will see some pretty good conditions today. We're going to see a good amount of sunshine with high temperatures getting into the lower 70s, and it won't be quite as warm for you folks in La Crosse, but still very nice. Plenty of sunshine, upper 60s, low 70s for highs, and fairly light wind as well. But tomorrow is going to be a lot cooler. I'll talk more about that and track a few chances of rain coming up a bit later.
All right, thank you, Jacob. We'll be checking in. This morning, no one is injured after Madison Fire Department was called to a fire at Meriter Hospital's roof last night. This happened just after 8 p.m. Smoke was detected on the 5th floor in a mechanical room, but no fire entered the building. Patients and hospital personnel returned to the hospital after a brief evacuation of the emergency department and 6th floor. MFD continues to investigate the cause of the fire. UW-Platteville will be closing its Baraboo-Sauk County campus. It'll happen on May 22nd after the spring semester. Classes will continue as planned until then. Officials say this is due to declining enrollment on the campus. This year, total enrollment is at 178. The campus was initially designed to accommodate 350. Stick around for the next half hour. Our Arman Rahman answers your questions of what happens to students, staff, and the campus location that's called this community home for almost 60 years. Let's take a live look now at the White House, where President Trump met with Ukraine's President Zelensky yesterday.
Trump called for an end to the war between Russia and Ukraine.
And we had a very good meeting, very cordial meeting. In my opinion, they should stop the war immediately. You go by the battle line wherever it is, and both sides should go home, go to their families, stop the killing, and that should be it.
During their meeting, Zelensky and Trump discussed the potential for Ukraine to receive these long-range Tomahawk missiles, capable of striking up to 1,500 miles into Russian territory. Ukraine offered to trade for them.
We need ceasefire. Even now, you see in the Middle East, it's very difficult to hold ceasefire. Everywhere, in every war, it's very difficult. We want peace. Putin doesn't want. That's why we need pressure on him.
President Trump said he'll apply that pressure when he holds another meeting with Russia's Vladimir Putin, this time in Budapest.
I'm the mediator, President. Hopefully we'll be able to get the war over with without thinking about Tomahawks.
Also on Friday, President Trump commuted the sentence of former New York Republican Congressman George Santos. Santos served less than 3 months of a 7-year sentence. He'd been found guilty of 2 felony counts stemming from his 2022 campaign: wire fraud and identity theft. Santos will also no longer be required to pay nearly $400,000 in restitution to his victims. Cristian Benavides, CBS News.
A commutation is not a pardon, so Santos's record will not be wiped clean. In a lengthy social media post explaining his decision, President Trump says in part that Santos always had the courage to vote Republican and wrote that Santos had been, quote, horribly mistreated. Taking a look at Wall Street now, here are Friday's closing numbers, closing the week in positive terrain. The Dow Jones climbing 238 points, the Nasdaq up 117, and the S&P 500 adds 35. In the Cooley, Toma Health says it's saving money and the environment with a reusable container system. The hospital launched the OZ system in its cafe back in July. Staff and visitors use reusable containers instead of disposable ones, then return them to drop boxes where they're cleaned. 3 months in, and the hospital says it's having hundreds of dollars a month in supply costs.
It feels good to be contributing less to trash, and it feels really great to be able to spend more money on food instead of garbage.
Again, they're cutting hundreds of dollars per month. Toma Health is among a limited number of facilities using this OZ system. Now to today's morning motivational quote. Our editor chose this one from Dolly Parton.
Find out who you are and do it on purpose. I feel like Dolly Parton, among, a lot of celebrities, is always towards like the top in terms of like the person that gives the most, the most, kind. So
Yes,
it doesn't surprise me that this is the quote today.
Absolutely. And she's always encouraging you to be yourself and be confident in that no matter what. So we're sending you off with that today. But stick around, because after the break, we have your weekend events, including traffic updates if you're headed downtown.
But first, I'll be back with a full look at your weekend forecast. This is Weekend Mornings. Keep it here. Welcome back. Here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. We're going to see partly sunny skies for most of today. Rain is expected to return to our area again later tonight. And in general, we're going to see some cooler and breezy conditions for tomorrow and a good chunk of next week. But again, now that morning rain has completely cleared out, the rest of today is looking very nice. We're going to see those high temperatures into the lower 70s. A good amount of sunshine is expected as well. Now, once we get to the evening, a little bit more cloud cover will move in, and then we are going to see some showers return to our area overnight. Now, these showers are going to mostly be pretty light. Could see some pockets of heavier rain, and the best chance of rain similar to this morning will be for Madison and areas to the south and east. But also like today, this rain's going to clear out very quickly, and we'll see sunshine pretty early in the day tomorrow. But the difference for tomorrow is that we're going to see those cooler temperatures along with some breezy weather. Now, the wind will really begin picking up overnight. We'll see wind gusts up around 25 to 30 miles per hour, mostly out of the northwest, and that's going to continue for most of Sunday as well. Now, as we get into Monday, we're going to continue to see some breezy weather, but Monday the winds will be out of the south, which will help warm the temperatures back up into the upper 60s. But then Monday night into Tuesday, we're going to see a large chance of rain, once again mostly in the form of showers. Could see a few isolated storms, and this round of precipitation will also cool the temperatures back down for Tuesday, as the winds will once again be out of the northwest, and we could see some additional showers for later in the day Tuesday. So looking at the 10-day forecast, upper 60s to low 70s today, upper 50s Sunday, upper 60s Monday, then we could be in the upper 40s to low 50s on Tuesday. Now, this is La Crosse's 10-day forecast. There's a little bit less chance of rain showers for La Crosse compared to southern Wisconsin, and even the chance of rain in southern Wisconsin will mostly be overnight, maybe into early Sunday, but most of the day Sunday should be dry. And then again, we are going to see that kind of big temperature swing where we're going to be back in the upper 60s, then down into the lower 50s for Tuesday. And then beyond Tuesday, we're mostly looking at temperatures slowly creeping back up into the lower 60s. Also want to point out some of the overnight lows for the middle of next week could drop to near freezing, especially Wednesday night.
Oof, I'm not ready for those freezing temperatures overnight. Thanks, Jacob. The Wisconsin Badgers will host top-ranked Ohio State this afternoon, and you can watch the action right here on WISC TV at 2:30. Ohio State remains undefeated, while the Badgers hold a 2-4 record this season. You can expect large crowds and plan ahead if you're heading downtown. Traffic on John Nolan Drive from Lakeside Street to Broome Street is reduced down to one lane. The weekly farmers market that kicked off at 6:15 this morning. And then the Badgers take on Ohio State at 2:30. The No Kings protest is also planned at 2 with a rally at 3. Madison police say about 15,000 people turned out for the protest over the summer. In today's Health Watch, it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and although the disease strikes mainly women, doctors say people need to understand it can also happen to men. Many men are diagnosed with advanced breast cancer because there are no recommended screenings for them. But this morning, we're introducing you to a male breast cancer survivor who's getting the word out.
Juan Namnan, the baseball coach at Frankfurt High School, is also a breast cancer patient.
Shock. It's hard to put in words when you hear, I'm sorry to tell you this, there's no easy way, you have cancer. I knew very little about it. It never crossed my mind.
The 47-year-old father of 3 ended up having a double mastectomy.
It was the hardest thing I ever had to do, emotionally and physically.
He says months of physical therapy were torture when simple activities were painful.
It took so much muscle mass out. Steering wheel, hold an umbrella, things of that nature. So life has been a huge challenge, but I'm on my way back.
Coach is in a rare group of about 2,800 men who are diagnosed with breast cancer each year, just 1% of all cases.
I think most men are relatively unaware that they can get breast cancer.
Virtua Health breast surgeon Lori Timmerman says men need to check themselves because there are no screening guidelines.
So usually it's a change to your breast tissue, either thickening of the nipple areolar complex, a nodule in your breast tissue or in your chest area. It's something that's there and then doesn't go away.
Coach Namnan is now taking chemotherapy drugs and relieved to be back at the ballpark. Tell us your record.
I have had the distinction of being the quote-unquote winningest baseball coach in the history of Philadelphia with 8 championships.
The coach is also working on raising awareness about male breast cancer with a special baseball event to help crush cancer.
I'm so proud of all the work you're doing.
With his wife, his high school sweetheart, supporting his cancer fight. Stephanie Stahl, CBS News, Philadelphia.
The American Cancer Society says the biology of breast cancer in men and women differs. The UW Health Paths Clinic, or Prevention Assessment and Tailored Health Screenings Clinic, offers testing for anyone at risk of breast cancer, and you can visit uwhealth.org to get screened. Justice for a Cure is hosting a cancer charity event all weekend long. You can attend Never Give Up the Fight by heading to Bartel Cohen Tap in Monroe today and tomorrow. Now, this supports all cancer research and awareness. This evening, join Justice for a Cure at 6 p.m. for an evening walk in their shoes around the Monroe Square downtown. Doors open at Bartel Co. at 10 a.m. and all proceeds go directly to Justice for a Cure. Stick with us because after the break, Will Loper has the 3 things that you need to watch. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Keep it here.
You're watching Weekend Mornings.
Welcome back. In your entertainment news this morning, we're going to our expert.
Here's Will Loper sharing a few of the best in this weekend's 3 Things to Watch.
Beautiful, right?
It's so rustic. I could just bottle the air up here. Surprise!
What is that?
It's our room for the night. I bought it from Will Smith today. It's so big, it's illegal in Europe.
Continue giving away money in Loot Season 3, newly streaming on Apple TV+.
I'm a billionaire, and I'm going to give away more of my money to those who actually need it.
Honey, be careful with your hand. You use that to point at things you want to buy.
Maya Rudolph returns as the billionaire, continuing her philanthropic journey, sometimes in misguided ways.
Oh, God, our plane crashed. What are we going to do?
Whatever it takes. Wait, should we have written SOS?
Oh, no, this is way more us.
I know I've been hard on you. It takes hard work to survive.
Experience a dystopian thriller with 40 Acres, newly streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Are there any others like us?
Ain't nobody else out there like us.
Danielle Deadweiler stars as the matriarch of a family trying to survive and defend their farm after a plague that has wiped out all animals.
What matters now is how we react.
It's a special new kind of spaghetti for my special guy.
And watch a loathsome couple in The Twits, newly streaming on Netflix.
The Twits hate everything, especially each other.
Worms! You're eating worms! You grizzly old grunion!
Loosely based off the Roald Dahl book, the animated film follows a mean-spirited couple who want to open their own amusement park.
Let me show you my diarrhea. Diorama. What?
Those are the 3 things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for Weekend Mornings.
Which one of those are you watching?
I really don't know. I always like how almost every time we do the 3 things to watch, there's always something that's like kind of like a mystery. That middle one fit that bill this time, and I just feel like it always gets me hooked just a little bit.
I know. I'm kind of leaning more towards the comedy actually on today. Maya Rudolph. She's good in everything, so I feel like that's a must-see.
And there definitely were some funny jokes in that trailer.
Oh yeah, I was giggling.
Now let's take a look at your weekend forecast again. Looking pretty good today now that rain is cleared up. We are going to see some showers tonight. Might last into Sunday, but most of Sunday will feature pretty dry weather. However, Sunday will also feature some windy conditions that will bring the temperatures down quite a bit. So lower 70s today, upper 50s for your Sunday. Now, obviously, good thing that the Badgers football game is today. As we look at the forecast, plenty of sunshine. If anything, it might be a little bit warm at times. Should stay dry, but again, expect to see some rain much later in the evening. Maybe not even until after midnight, but if you have any late evening plans, just be aware that the rain will start to move in at that point. Now, before I go, here's a look at the fall color report. A lot of counties, especially in northern Wisconsin, seeing their peak right now. Southern Wisconsin getting to that level as well, and we are expecting the peak in Dane County to be the first week of November. So over the next couple weeks, the fall colors are going to be at their peak level. So definitely get out and enjoy it. If you're in central and northern Wisconsin, today's looking like a very nice day to enjoy them.
Now, I might not be looking forward to those colder temperatures, but these fall colors, I can't wait for them to come to Dane County.
Yeah, I wish they lasted a bit longer because by the time Thanksgiving rolls around, they're all going to be on the ground.
Literally.
And so, yeah, I'm definitely going to try to take advantage of these next couple of weeks because you only get about a 2-week window where they're actually at their peak.
Literally.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jacob. Well, before we head to break, here's a look at last night's winning numbers. And don't go anywhere because we do have a half hour of news to come. Stick with us. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Right now, charges are filed against the man who drove a tow truck in a police chase, injuring a Madison officer.
Plus, we're going to see some breezy conditions by the end of the weekend. Here's a look at your full forecast coming up.
Well, hello. Thanks for waking up with us today. I'm your Weekend Morning anchor, Michelle Renee Quinn.
And I'm meteorologist Jacob Montesano. You're watching Weekend Mornings. It is Saturday, October 18th. And that camera that was showing when I was giving the weather headline, it's not broken. That's just some of the fog that's out there right now. I know.
The visibility is just not it.
Yeah, and as we take a look at the current radar, we are seeing dry conditions now. We had rain about an hour or two ago, but that has cleared up, and we're not expecting much rain, if any rain, for the rest of the day until we get to the overnight hours. But taking a look at the amount of rain that we did see, there were some pockets of heavier rain, specifically around Lafayette County, where some areas picked up close to an inch of rain, if not a little bit more. But in general, a lot of the area only picking up about a ½ inch of rain at most, so definitely we'll take any rain that we get, but this certainly is not going to create any it's not going to counter the drought conditions that we have seen. Now let's take a look at that fog. Visibility, especially in southwest Wisconsin, almost near zero. You saw it with that tower cam. Very dense fog for areas to the west. Definitely take it easy if you have anywhere to go this morning. Now this is expected to clear up pretty quickly by around 10 to 11 a.m. and that's going to make way for very nice conditions throughout the day. Plenty of sunshine, highs in the middle to lower 70s. These 70-degree days are going to be few and far between, so definitely take advantage of the forecast today. May not get to 70 for you folks in La Crosse, as a little bit more cloud cover will move in later in the day. That will make way for some rain overnight. And I say the 70s are few and far between. This is the only day that I'm projecting 70s in the 10-day forecast. So I'll talk about the cool down that is expected coming up a bit later.
Well, I'll be taking advantage of today's 70s. Thank you, Jacob. We'll be checking in shortly. Charges have been filed against the man who drove a tow truck in a police chase, injuring a Madison officer. Christopher Brugger is facing over a dozen felony charges and misdemeanor counts. That includes first-degree endangering safety and eluding an officer causing great bodily harm. Prosecutors say Brugger led police on a chase in a tow truck, driving through medians and hitting multiple vehicles. The chase ended when Brugger crashed head-on into the squad car of Madison police officer Ryan Kimberly. Kimberly was seriously injured in the crash, while his partner K-9, Freddie, suffered minor injuries. Brugger's cash bond is set at $200,000. A preliminary hearing for his case is set for October 24th. In more local news this morning, UW-Platteville will be closing its Baraboo campus after the spring 2026 semester. Officials say the decision came after careful consideration, and they tell our Arman Rahman the writing was on the wall for some time.
Sauk County leaders tell me they could see enrollment going down over the years at UW-Platteville Baraboo. Now that it's closing, the question remains, what happens to students, staff, and the whole campus location that's called this community home for almost 60 years.
Unfortunately, we've seen it dwindling for years.
According to Sauk County officials, that enrollment kept dwindling to 116 full-time students this fall for a campus designed to accommodate 350.
But I think, the writing's been on the wall. That the university would have to go this direction. So we've been prepared for it.
Sauk County Board Chair Tim McCumber says they've also been anticipating the move by the universities of Wisconsin after it decided to close UW-Platteville Richland, an announcement which came 2 years ago almost to the date.
In all honesty, if I could justify having a university here, we'd love to have a university here. We think that it provides great value and benefit to the community. Unfortunately, that's not where education's headed today. It's changed dramatically.
According to the county and University of Wisconsin-Platteville, after the spring 2026 semester, UW-Platteville will help students transition to the main campus. Faculty and staff will get help developing individual plans. In a statement, UW-Platteville Chancellor Tammy Ivatovich says, quote, "This decision was not made lightly. Enrollment continues to decline on that campus, and we are committed to being good partners with the city and county by ensuring the campus can be used in ways that best serve the region."
Just as recently as 10 years ago, it was a vital part of the community. There were activities, there were events, and we've just seen that taper off. Obviously, the future is here.
So what does the future hold for the 63 acres of land the campus has called home?
Arman, thank you. The redevelopment planning process will start next month and is set to wrap up in early July. Looking ahead, Gamehole Con is underway this weekend at the Alliant Energy Center. It's the largest majority RPG gaming convention in the world. Today is day 3, and that event lasts until tomorrow. Doors open at 8 a.m., and you can still purchase badges online or at the event. Don't forget, Sunday's badges come at a discount. You can find all of that information and registration on GameholeCon.com. A 4-day road closure is coming to our area. After the break, we tell you where and when so you can plan ahead. But first, before we head to the break, we've got a birthday to celebrate. Today, Nora is 3. Everybody here at Weekend Mornings is wishing you a very happy birthday. Keep it here. We're back right after this.
You're watching Weekend Mornings.
Welcome back. Railroad crossing repairs will soon close one of the busiest streets in Madison. Beginning October 27th, Packers Avenue near the Dane County Regional Airport will be closed to all vehicle traffic at the crossing. Now, this will last about 4 days if the weather cooperates. Signs will be out to direct drivers to detour using North Sherman Avenue and Aberg Avenue. Across from the Dane County Regional Airport will stay open via Darwin Road from the north and International Lane from the south. News 3 now, and SSM Health's Time for Kids digital playbook campaign continues helping families navigate that ever-changing digital world. Instagram is rolling out a new restriction policy for teen users using PG-13 movie ratings as a guide for what those younger audiences can see online. Now, the company says accounts for anyone under 18 will automatically shift to a 13+ setting. It blocks searches for terms like alcohol, gore, and other adult topics, adding to restrictions already in place on searches related to suicide, self-harm, and eating disorders. Teens will also be prevented from following or messaging accounts that regularly post age-inappropriate content. Now, if they already follow those accounts, they'll no longer see their posts, comments, or direct messages. SSM Health child psychiatrist Dr. Jeremy Chapman says social media often plays a big role in how young people figure out who they are.
So Instagram, that's a place where you go to shape your identity. And that's what kids are supposed to be doing, by the way. We always talk in psychology about Erikson's stages of life. It's this famous thing that, there's a certain goal for each age range. There's a lot of understandable anxiety with Instagram because that's, I'd say, one of the main places where people are kind of like deciding how they want to project themselves to the world. How do I want my peers to view me?
Meta says the new settings are designed to make social media safer for teens while still giving parents more control. Time now, 8:36. Let's check in with meteorologist Jacob Montesano live from our studio in Madison with your 3 things to know.
Thanks, Michelle Renee. We are going to see some pretty good conditions for the rest of the day. Partly sunny, not going to see much rain at all going forward, but we are going to see that rain later tonight. And then that will lead to some cooler and breezy conditions for Sunday and for a lot of next week. So again, now that the rain is cleared up, we're going to see a pretty nice day. Still seeing that fog in southwest Wisconsin, but a lot of the area not seeing the fog, and those that are, it'll clear up very quickly. By the afternoon, expect to see temperatures in the lower 70s. Very nice weather. And as we take a look at the rainfall forecast, the good news is that most of the rain will occur overnight and clear up before we get to sunrise Sunday. Now, we still might see some lingering showers for areas to the south and east Sunday morning, but expect mostly dry conditions from about 7 a.m. until really the rest of the day for Sunday as well, and expect to see some sunshine during the afternoon on top of it. However, we are going to see those winds pick up, which will cool the temperatures down for Sunday. The breezy conditions really going to pick up tonight. Out of the northwest, we'll see gusts up around 25 to 30 miles per hour, and then that's going to continue throughout all of Sunday, calming down for Sunday night and then picking back up for Monday. But the winds on Monday are actually going to be out of the south, which will help warm the temperatures back up. Gusts once again up near 25 to 30 miles per hour, maybe even stronger at times on Sunday. Now, as we get into Monday night, we are going to see another chance of some showers and isolated thunderstorms. And similar to tonight's rainfall, the Monday night into Tuesday rain will also cool the temperatures off for Tuesday. Now, the winds are going to pick back up again, being out of the northwest, bringing in some more showers before the day is over. And as I mentioned, really cooling those temperatures down. And Tuesday, pretty easily looking like the coldest day of the season so far, where some areas may only see highs in the 40s. And we're definitely going to be at the warmest in the lower 50s. So, and this is La Crosse's forecast, but we're going to see similar conditions for Madison, with the exception that southern Wisconsin will see a little bit of a better chance of rain tonight into early tomorrow. But lower 70s today, then upper 50s tomorrow, then upper 60s Monday, then lower 50s Tuesday. So we're kind of going to see those temperatures bounce up and down a little bit the next couple of days with those winds picking up. And then after Tuesday, they are going to warm back up slowly, I should point out. And then we could see 60s return for next weekend. Also looking very dry next week after that rainfall on Tuesday, but the winds will continue for Sunday through Wednesday. So yeah, really up and down the next couple of days temperature wise. Then we'll be pretty steady from Tuesday going forward, but steadily cool, at least for a few days there.
A Midwest forecast through and through.
Yeah, exactly.
Up and down, up and down. Well, now to today's morning motivational quote. Our editor chose this one from Dolly Parton.
Find out who you are and do it on purpose.
It's short and sweet, and I love it. Be who you are, and no apologies necessary.
Love it.
There you go. Stick around. After the break, Andrew Banstra brings you the final drive in your morning sports fix.
Plus, I'll have another look at the visibility forecast and show you some drought conditions coming up.
You're watching Weekend Mornings. Keep it here.
Where did the time go? We've already made it to the final week of the regular season of high school football. Gear up because things are about to get interesting. I'm Andrew Banstra, and this is the final drive. And it wouldn't be week 9 if there wasn't many conference championships up for grabs. Let's start with our game of the week and a Six Rivers showdown. Potosi Cassville and Blackhawk Warren are both undefeated, but after tonight, only one team will be able to say that and will only be able to claim that conference crown. The Chieftains defeated the Warriors in week 9 last year to clinch their 5th consecutive conference title. First drive of the game for Blackhawk Warren, whose quarterback Bo Podner takes it in himself, finds a hole through some good blocking and sneaks into the end zone. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. This time Podner on a 2-point conversion after another Warrior score. He's back in the house. How about that? A big start for Blackhawk Warren. Potosi Cassville, they get some momentum back. A perfect end around here from Hunter White, who's able to dodge, duck, and dip his way into the promised land to cut that lead at half. This one would turn into an absolute shootout, and Blackhawk Warren stuns the reigning state champions. They secure that conference title and win it 28-21. And we're just getting started. Let's head over to Nash Dara, who had our game of the night.
Thank you, Andrew. Just up Highway 69 in Belleville, the Wildcats welcomed the Darlington Redbirds with the SWAL title on the line. Darlington came into this evening having already clinched at least a share of the SWAL title, but standing in the way of that outright conference championship was, you guessed it, Belleville. With a win tonight would clinch a share of that title alongside Darlington. But that would not be the case tonight for the Wildcats, as they would be stuck with a 28-0 deficit at half. Desperate to stay in the game on their first drive in the third, quarterback Raiden Taylor chucks it downfield, only to find the hands of opposing quarterback Zeke Zuberbuehler, which would set up the easy throw and catch Zuberbuehler to Broker Boucher to take that lead to 35. However, Belleville would find the scoreboard with Cooper Nemick making the catch and run for some points. But for the Wildcats, they would be in too big of a hole as they lose at the hands of Darlington, 42-21. Back to you, Andrew.
Man, a fantastic game of the night. You know, those two, Zuberbuehler and Broker Busher, they've been doing it for years and keep Darlington on top. Now we make our way down East Wash to see Sauk Prairie, and the Eagles take on the red-hot Edgewood Crusaders. Edgewood looking for their first undefeated season in well over 20 years, but had a tough test in their way with an Eagles squad who did lose to them last year, beat Edgewood 21-9. Looking ahead into the postseason on a high note, the Eagles were flying high for most of the first half, scored in the second quarter, and kept it coming with some explosive plays. Justin Shockley with the big gainer in the defense. For Sauk Prairie, they are doing their job too. Riley Jadak gets home for the sack. Eventually, Edgewood would break through with some offense of their own. The Crusaders were undefeated for a reason. A big piece of that, Gannon Bagstead, who fires a bullet to the ATM. Cash Soma, and another one, this time to Will Kelly for the touchdown. But how about this? Sauk Prairie comes back and wins it 20-7, stunning the Crusaders and denying them of not just their perfect season, but an outright Badger Small title. Looking at some other scores, Janesville Craig needed a win for a chance at a postseason slot. Couldn't get it done tonight against Verona, who wins big, 56-8. Speaking of teams that needed a win to get into the postseason, or at least a chance at it, how about this for a stunner? McFarland taking down Edgerton in Edgerton, 28-21. McFarland may be in the playoffs. Edgerton certainly still will be. Let's move on to 6th-ranked Waunakee, who had a chance to clinch their 6th straight conference championship this evening, but had a tough test in front of them with Milton. Milton themselves had a chance to get that Badger large conference share. Couldn't get it outright because Waunakee already had it. Early on, Milton looked like they might just do it. Tied at 14 apiece, heading into the second half. So to start the half, the Redhawks, they try an onside kick to get the momentum, but the Warriors were all over it and used that field position to find the end zone. Eli Drangsvit scurries in for 6 and the Warrior lead. And later in the third quarter, it was more special teams for the Key. Milton punting, and with Wes Ducharme deep, you're better off just kicking it out of bounds. Number 10 with a head of steam, almost made it to the house. pushed out of bounds inside the 5, and the Warriors kept cooking like a pan of grease on high. They were bound to pop. Cole Causey finds his man Devontae Bacon for the touchdown. Wanakee blanks the Redhawks in the second half, winning it 42-14 and clinching that regular season undefeated record. Well, keeping an eye on all the games, last night Madison West needed to win for a chance at a postseason bid. They weren't able to get it done against Middleton, who wins 38-9. What a season for the Cardinals. Meanwhile, Sun Prairie East, they could all but secure a playoff spot with a victory, and they got that against DeForest 17-7. Two teams fighting for similar things. Normally, City Pride would come first on this list in this matchup, but not tonight. It was about a potential playoff spot. A Memorial win gives them a pretty solid chance at getting in, but La Follette would need some luck on their side and a big victory. The Spartans, who started the season 0-5, looking to rattle off their 4th straight victory, and with Zion Lopez-Darden dancing like that, they might just dance into a postseason spot. And later, the defense would get it done. Connor Roberts with the highway robbery. 82 says, "Give me that." And the Spartans would turn it into points after a healthy return from the big man. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Give it to Lopez-Darden again, who rips off, how about this, in a 50-plus yard house call, securing a statement victory for the Spartans. Memorial wins it 49-7, and after that 0-5 start, they've got a chance at a postseason bid. Speaking of teams that needed wins, Portage was one of those. Couldn't get it done against Mount Horeb Barneveld. And by the way, this win huge because MHB wins. That ties themselves in the Badger, in their conference, I should say, for their conference title with Edgewood. Moving on, this one huge too. Beaver Dam needing a win to get into the playoffs. They were unable to do it against the 3rd-ranked team in the state, 27-26 the score against Plymouth. The Columbus Cardinals head into the last week of the regular season on a roll, having not lost since week 2, and this evening had the chance to cash in their good fortune with a win over the Turner Trojans, which would bring them their 2nd straight Capital Conference title. And if we know one thing about Columbus, they're called the C-Bus for a reason, because they just don't stop rolling. That would be the story tonight. Late in the first, the Cardinals start flying through the air. Peyton Powers with the deep ball for Mowbray Jordan, their first score of the game, and they were just getting started. Later on, they'd go to the ground game because Tracy Bobby, he wants to go fast and knows if you ain't first, you are last. He finds the end zone, as does his friend Garrett Hodge. He joins in on the fun with a touchdown of his own, and the Cardinals would not be stopped. They go on to win it 43-0, securing that Capital Conference crown. Looking at some other scores, Cambridge needed a win for a chance at a share of the Eastern Suburban Conference. Can't get it done against Markesan, losing 22-16. The Wisconsin Dells, they needed a win for a chance at a postseason run and could not get it done in an absolute shootout. Waupun wins 68-35. And we wrap up the final week in the regular season of the Final Drive at Waterloo High School with more playoff spots on the line. Marshall made the quick hike over to Waterloo, and not only would the Pirates be looking for a huge win at the end of their season, they'd also be looking to end a drought tonight, as they have not beaten Marshall since 2017. But that wouldn't change this evening. The Cardinals, who started the season 1-3, finished by winning 4 of their last 5. How about Isaiah Polly, who rushes in for the score, and the Cardinals are likely playoff bound with a 28-12 win. And how about this in the Southwestern Conference? Both New Glarus and River Valley, all they needed to do was both win, and they would both have a share of that conference title. New Glarus did their job. River Valley, though, gets upset by Dodgeville, making the Glarner Knights your conference champions in that Southwestern Conference. An absolute crazy night of high school football, and of course, we cannot wait for the postseason.
Thanks, Andrew. Now that the rain is cleared out, we are still seeing some foggy conditions, and southwest Wisconsin seeing visibility down near zero. Now, the good news is that we are going to see this fog clear up very quickly. By the time we get to around 10 to 11, it's going to be very clear across the area, and we're not expecting any additional fog to develop, and it's going to be a very nice afternoon. But I do want to talk about the lack of rainfall we've seen. We're over an inch below normal to where we're supposed to be for the month of October, and although we've been seeing a few rainfalls lately, a lot of them not really producing a lot of precipitation. So taking a look at the latest drought monitor, we are seeing a lot of the state in abnormally dry conditions and some parts of the state in a moderate drought right now. And I don't expect the rainfall going forward to necessarily mitigate these drought conditions that have already formed.
Thanks, Jacob. Still ahead on Weekend Mornings, we're sharing this week's playlist pick from Sandy and her 2 kitties at home. So be like Sandy and her cats and send me a playlist pick. You'll get to hear this week's. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Keep it here.
With the Sultans, with the Sultans of Swing.
You're listening to Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits. Now, Sandy chose this song, and if you want to share a song, email Mr. Quinn at wisctv.com/ and add the subject line, playlist pick for me. And now let's take a look at our score predictions for today's game. Unfortunately, I'm trying really hard
to win like the prediction.
Yeah, today. I'm not manifesting a Badger win. I'm trying to be accurate. But well, how about you?
Well, here's what I will say. Now, obviously, I picked 45-10, so I don't think it's going to be a close one. But if the Badgers do have hope, it's the fact that, and this may sound very like passive aggressive, Ohio State may not take us seriously because they have a lot of tough games outside of us. So
we're no competition for them for sure.
Right.
Well, thanks for watching Weekend Mornings. Up next is Mission Unstoppable. Our next newscast is at 6 p.m. and you can find us streaming always on Channel 3000+.